Hello, everyone. It's me, Joe Schmo. It's not like I just messed up or anything. I am joined by the legendary Lunchbox himself. If you are into the Weiss community, if you've been around on the Facebook page, YouTube, you've seen this man giving his opinions, pissing people off, making them enjoy life. And, well, I'm here joined by the legend himself with audio and visual this time. So, hello, sir. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lunchbox5930. That's not my real name. That's not my birth name. My mom did not name me that. I am a long-time listener, first-time caller. So very excited to be here.
Listener, first-time
Very excited to be here.
I guess, we could start by going how we know each other, how we met each other. It was Weiss. That's how we met each other, because of Weiss Schwarz.
Yeah.
But I'll let you tell the story from your side.
It was completely circumstantial because I was a longtime listener of this podcast called the Base Damage Podcast. And I listened to it constantly. That's how I got more familiarized with the game. And y'all started like around the same time that I started, a little like before, I think like a couple months before. And I thought like, well, if there's like people making Weiss Schwarz stuff. Y'all got a podcast. I wanted to make YouTube videos. So I was like, all right, so I'll give it a shot. So Base Damage was a real big like inspiration for me to like make YouTube videos and like make content specifically about a very niche Japanese anime trading card game. And through them, I met you.
Well, and for those who don't know, I was one of the co-founders essentially for Base Damage, and that goes back to what, 2015, 2016, somewhere around there. It's not way back. And we did it for like 2 years plus, 3 years plus, somewhere around there. We did. There was over 100+ episodes. That's all I know. And it was a weekly podcast thing, so we kept pumping out episodes, did deck reviews, did a bunch of other stuff. But for those who don't know what Weiss Schwarz is, basically, if your favorite anime is mainstream enough and doesn't have its own card game, it gets bought by this company called Bushiroad and sucked into this void where you can never have anything like it again, but you can still play it in this one main card game. And he's laughing because he knows it's very true.
That is very true. Yeah, that is the truth. Yeah, that is definitely the truth right there.
So, let's start with the basics. We're going to go all the way back. This way your community can have lore they can refer to. Let's talk about Young Box. How did Young Box get into anime and video games? Let's talk about that.
When I was a kids meal?
Yeah, when you were a kids meal.
Kids meal 5930? Oh man, how did I get an anime? So it's very I don't think it's a surprise to everybody. I'm Mexican. So I think that my upbringing compared to yours is gonna be different in like as well as like the way we consumed media. The way that I was brought into anime was when my parents immigrated here. We had a main TV in the living room, and I had an older brother, and he would always put on Dragon Ball, like early Toonami, like mid-90s, late 90s Toonami. So I remember watching Dragon Ball with my older brother in our living room, and my mom was making dinner, and she walked into the living room and said, "What are you guys watching?" And my brother was like, "We're watching Dragon Ball." And my mom was like, "I watched that as a kid in Mexico." And I was like, "What?" And she was like, "Yeah, I've watched that. Like, I remember watching this as a kid." And my mom would sit down with us and watch Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. So it wasn't later until I found out that my mom was a huge otaku in Mexico in like the early 80s and like early 80s to late 80s. Like she'd watch Dragon Ball, Heidi, Moomin, Saint Seiya, Captain Tsubasa, and like all these different anime series. Macross and Gundam too. They had airings of that in Mexico when she was still like a teenager and like younger. And she was like this, all that. It's normal to her essentially. Like this was like none of this was a surprise. Like she even told me like when you started like watching when I wasn't watching with you, I wasn't even surprised that you'd take this along.
It developed.
Yeah, it like completely did. Even my younger sister, like same shit, like likes everything. Like so, like it was in the family like for a really long time because it was airing in Mexico while my mom was still like a teenager.
Well, that's
yeah,
nice.
we just essentially ran to it. But that was when I was like not fully aware that it was anime. You know, the first time that I was like, oh yeah, like this is an anime was I hate this is one of the lore stories I used to tell on stream. In 6th grade, there was a girl that I thought was really, really cute. And I was sitting next to her in English class. And I was like, oh, like I want to talk to her, but like I don't know like what we have in common. So and then she like we were talking for a little bit, and then she asked me, it's like, oh, have you heard of Toonami? And I was like, yeah, like I watched it like when I was a kid. And she was like, oh, have you heard of Inuyasha? And I was like, no, what's that? She was like, well, if you stay up really, really late on a certain date, you'll see like that's how like the stuff they show on Toonami, but it's like more violent and it's like adult. And I was like a horny sixth grader, and I was like, sure. I stayed up till like 1 a.m. like trying to watch Inuyasha to impress this girl, and then she moved like a month later or something. And I was like, well, I have like all this intimate knowledge of Inuyasha, Scryed,
Yep.
Wolf's Rain, Big O, like all these like mid 2000s like Midnight Run, like there was Outlaw Star that I kind of watched too, and it was literally all for a girl. And then she moved, and in middle school, in 7th and 8th grade, there was this girl that was reading a book backwards, and I was like, what's that? And she was like, oh, it's called a manga. And I was like, well, can I read one too? And she gave me Cardcaptor Sakura. Volume 3, I think it was. So I completely like missed like a majority of the story. I missed like half the. I don't know what was happening, but I was like, this. I was like, yo, this is kind of cool. And I was like, where can I get more? She's like, oh, there's this bookstore called Borders, and like Barnes and Noble, and you're able to buy them. And I was like, all right. So I went. I bought. I think it was Naruto 1, Bobo.
Oh yeah.
And Buso Renkin, which for people that don't know, Buso Renkin is done by the artist of Rurouni Kenshin before all the bad stuff. So yeah, that was like the first like time I like specifically like sought out like something like that was like anime related. But that's not the first time I seeked out anime itself. That was in high school, like in 7th grade. I was with these like I moved to a new school. It was a brand new, like, I knew nobody. So I met up with some real metalhead guys because like I like metal. I also play like a lot of music too. And they invited me, one of the dudes there invited me to his house, and he had an older sister, and they were like, hey, like, but they were like super nerdy. Like these cats were super nerdy. Like they were into video games, they were into anime, and because their sister was, I think, 2 or 3 years older than us, they were more they had like more intimate knowledge of everything. And they were like, yeah, have like you've seen like Toonami and like the Midnight Run and all that. And that was like me. I was starting to like get like super interested in the anime and manga community. And I was like, yeah. And then I was like, well, there's this show made by the dudes that made FLCL. I don't know if you've seen that show. And I was like, I remember watching that. And then I was like, yeah, it's called Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. It's not on TV. Go on this website, download a BitTorrent client, then go to the Pirate Bay, look up this string of words, download the first episode, and I was like, I'm incriminating myself, aren't I? And then I was like, all right, sure, I'll do that. Download a BitTorrent. My internet was pretty bad, and I downloaded the first episode of Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, Seto no Hanayome, Lucky Star, and The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. 3 of those 4 are my all-time favorite animes, like, to this day. I won't say which ones. I'll let y'all wonder that. So that was, like, the first time I was like, I want to, like, consciously watch an anime. And yeah, there you go.
I can't get over there, like, all right, look, you need to go to the shady website, but it's going to be okay. Yes. You just need this bit client, and you'll be okay. Then you need...
They were super smart though. I was like, all right, sure. I believe you. I'll listen. My computer's life is in your hands. It was my own personal laptop. It wasn't like a family computer or anything. That was earlier in like middle school where I downloaded LimeWire. Do you remember LimeWire?
Yeah, I remember.
Oh boy, all those viruses. Hey, viruses in those French coat. Ooh boy.
But hey, I got some good songs, and I was able to get me the Gabriel Iglesias "I'm Not Fluffy" special. Hey, but hey, it runs like at 2 frames a second, but it still works. It's all right.
I'm almost certain that And I remember my dad, he had to like print out directions from MapQuest, and he was like, "Why is the computer running so slow?" And then my iPod just filled. This iPod, actually, I just dug it out of storage. This exact iPod, I dug it out of, yeah, and it was just like, I don't know. I can't tell you why the computer's running slow.
I don't know, Dad. I don't know. It just started being weird. I don't know.
Just factory reset that baby, and it's good as new, literally. Yeah.
Oh, that brings me back some memories right there, man. Getting all the movies.
Probably, huh? Repressed memories.
Yeah, very repressed memories. Oh, Lord have mercy. For me, it was similar. That's amazing that your mom grew up watching that and like helped cultivate it. When it comes to me, I was the first one in my family to like start liking it, and then my older brother got into it. Then he realized, what I was watching. Because for me, I stayed up late and I watched Cowboy Bebop. I watched Trigun. Yeah. I watched when those were on Toonami airing, and those are my top. Those two are part of my top 5 of all time. I grew up watching them, and they have very mature themes, and I don't think 11, 12-year-olds should have been watching them, but I did, and it's it is what it is. But Toonami was a great cultivator for today's culture and generation. And
absolutely, yeah.
Just it's so good. I'm surprised you started with some old stuff though, like well, I mean, Dragon Ball is not that. It's kind of like a staple.
Well, the thing with Dragon Ball is that we got it like in the mid '90s, but it was airing like in Mexico. They had Dr. Slump. For people that don't know, Dr. Slump is Akira Toriyama's series before Dragon Ball. So in Mexico, they had Gundam, they had Macross, like original Macross, not like what we got in like the United States.
Yeah.
They got Captain Tsubasa and just like a bunch of other different. Saint Seiya is another one that we just didn't get in like the United States until like way later. So in Mexico, it was like a whole nother scene there because they'd got like different properties as well.
Jeez, that's that. See, like you don't hear that, and like to me, that's interesting because I'd like to hear about all the different cultures and see how people like grow up and get into like hearing all that. It's just interesting to me. Now I want to follow this up because video games usually come at the same time as people start getting anime, manga, and all that stuff. So video game wise, how did that start for you?
Oh man, so my dad bought us a Super Nintendo. Oh man, that's like one of my earliest memories, having that Super Nintendo. But the thing is that I was never super into video games. Even now, I'm not really like super into video games.
Mm-hmm.
I got my Super Nintendo. That turned into the 64. It was mostly for my older brother because my older brother was like really, really good at video games. He was like amazing at video games. But like, I remember having a Game Boy and playing Pokemon. I liked really like casual, not hard games.
Yeah.
So my older brother would play Super Mario 64. Dude, I was like 5 at the time. So that was hard of me. I can't get past that eel. I don't know what to do. So I played Pokemon, but I'd always get stuck and I was be like, dude, Onii-san, can you fix it? I'm not saying his real name. Can you help me out? And he'd be like, do it in a second. Like that also translated over to when we got the GameCube. I was like, I can't beat this part. Can you do it for me? And he was like, yeah, sure. And then he like beat like the first boss of Luigi's Mansion. Like I was always horrible at video games, but the first game so video games were always a part of our family too. My mom played the video games with us. She played like Mario Kart if we need an extra player. She'd even like help us like beat parts too. Like my mom was like, mwah, love her. She's not here right now. She's at work, but she'd always help us out, and she'd always like buy like what's like hey, we want this, and she'd always be like, all right, well if you're good, I'll take you to Burger King and I'll get you Sneak King or whatever,
I'll get you Sneak King.
So it was always there, but the first video game that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna buy this with my own money, I'm gonna play it like consciously, like I'm like not my parents buying it and actually being interested in a video game, was Kingdom Hearts.
Hey, look
for
at
the
that.
PlayStation 2. Yeah, like we had the Super Nintendo, we had the GameCube, we had the 64, but I was never fully invested in that. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Oh,
when I was like when I was consciously aware, like I want to play a video game, I want to try to beat it, was Kingdom Hearts in 2002, which was like 9-ish, 9, 10-ish, around that time when Kingdom Hearts 1 came out. Do I have it on my shelf? No.
No, it's somewhere.
I do got Sneak King though. I got Sneak King on my shelf. I got Sneak King on my shelf though. But yeah, it was Kingdom Hearts 1. And the first game, the following game after that, it was Pokemon Ruby, no, Pokemon Sapphire. But that's when my older brother stopped getting like super invested in the video games because it wasn't cool.
Yeah.
And then I just kept running with it. But yeah, it was Kingdom Hearts. I do remember getting stuck at Riku when we were in Hollow Bastion.
Yep.
I couldn't for the life of Paz. I couldn't beat it at all. And I had I told my friend, God, I gotta hit him up again. I gotta ask if he still remembers this. I hit him up. I was like, dude, I can't beat him. And he was like, oh, let me come over. I'll beat him for you. And then my buddy, some of our friends were next to him. I was like, oh, you're gonna go to his house? I was like, yeah, I gotta beat this boss for him. I'll beat it in like a minute. It'll be easy. And then their friends told their friends, and their friends told their friends. So we all went over to my house. It was like a group of like 10 to like 13 boys, all because we had like a big TV. My dad was like a really successful baker. Like, he was damn solid. He'd get paid like big bucks to like make like a shit ton of just like bread and stuff. So that's all he did. So he had like a lot of extra like income. So he bought like this huge ass TV. And it was just the 13 of us just like, all right, like let's do it. Let's beat him. It fucking took us like 2 hours to beat him. And I was like, dude, I thought you were good. It's like my mom was just there. It's like, do you boys want juice? And
You guys want some juice?
We gotta beat this. We gotta beat Riku. And we just couldn't for the life of. And eventually it was, oh man. My buddy Kevin, he beat it in like because we were trading the controller around. He's like, all right, I can't, your turn. And he beat him in like his first try. And he was like, I was like, yeah, this guy's easy. And then that introduced me to my buddy Kevin. And after that, he was like, yeah, well, if you like that, like, you know, Cloud that's in the game. And I was like, yeah, I kind of know him. I was like, well, he's in this game called Final Fantasy VII. Then my buddy Wes jumped in. And he was like, "Oh, like I play buddy. He wasn't my friend at the time. I was like, oh, I play Final Fantasy VII." We all went over to his house, and we were all just playing Final. He showed me Final Fantasy VII.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't playing it. He was showing it to me, and I was like, "So what is this?" And he was like, "It's called an RPG." And I was like, "Are there more?" And then from there, I just spiraled down to just I mainly play RPGs now. Like that's like exclusively almost all that I play right now. Every now and then, like I play like some odd game that I like. Someone's like recommends it on stream, and I do. But mainly, I love RPGs like to the core.
That I just like. So I have a funny story about Kingdom Hearts 1 too. So my buddy, I'll call him what he goes by online, Draxium. He's a big Kingdom Hearts fan. Like I mean big. Yeah. He hits Keyblades, all that stuff. He likes to go back and do one-hit critical runs. And I remember sitting there for 9 hours straight in his living room. He kept losing and losing and losing and losing to Riku. It was the funniest thing because you see him progressively get more and more mad, and then he literally just threw it down at like the halfway mark. He's like, "I need a break. I need a break." And he just walks out the door.
Walked out the door. I don't even want to be in the same room.
He said, "I can't be here right now."
Oh, that's so good. I was staying at in high school, like my freshman year. I was staying at a friend's house, and this is the Xbox 360 era. I had a PlayStation 3. I didn't have an Xbox 360, so I never played. I didn't have an original Xbox either, so I never played Halo. Never played Halo 2. Halo 3 was my first introduction. When I eventually did buy an Xbox, but I was over at his house. And he was like, "Hey, can we you want to play Halo?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." We were doing it split screen, and that was like the first time like I saw someone like actually getting like upset. He was like, "Oh, you motherfucker!" Like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you," and I was like, "My guy, like it's
not that serious. It's a video game."
Then he was like punching like his bed, and I was like, "I just want to go to sleep. I don't want to do this." And then when I did get my Xbox, all my friends played on Xbox. I was the only one with the PlayStation 3. I don't know, because the PlayStation 2. What's the next one? Okay, the third one. Okay, gotta get the PlayStation 3. That's my train of thought. Oh, Kingdom Hearts 3 will come out on the PlayStation 3. That makes sense.
Yeah. Come out on PlayStation 3. Yeah.
So again, that was my train of thought. So I was like, what came out at the time?
Well,
What was a hot game? I think it was Modern Warfare 2.
yes.
Or Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1. It was one of those. And I bought it or I rented it from Hollywood Video.
God,
and I
that's a
asked
throwback.
them, dude, I'm filled with throwbacks. So I told my friends like, yo, like I rented it out for 7 days. Like, let's play. And my friend that was like punching the bed over Halo was like, no, I can't play with you. You'll bring my KD down. And then I was
Bring my KD down.
And then I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. So to this day, I still quote that. If like someone someone in my Discord or something like pings me, like, oh, do you want to play Wise? I'm like,
You'll bring my KD down.
Like, I can't. And when we went to the Spring Fest, last year's Spring Fest was trios, so you had to join in a group of 3. I was like, all right, whose KD am I bringing down today? So another good one was oh man, what was it? I think I'll save it over to the card game section. We have another good one.
Well, I was gonna say that's like the next thing we need to go to, because anime, video games go together, but sometimes anime manga turns into something known as, I got it right here, turns into something called card games, and then there's things called like this, where if you watch anime, that's remember right there.
Oh, that's nice. I thought that was I was gonna show off my YuGiOh deck. If that's cool first.
Oh yeah, that's full. I mean, it's progression. That's a weird looking Yu-Gi-Oh deck.
It's a Cricket Keeper, and inside I have my giant ballpark Yu-Gi-Oh deck, so you can see it in there. So when I went to locals with this, it still had the handle, and I was carrying it around. They were like, "What the fuck?" Like everyone was like, "Dude, this guy brought crickets," and I was like, "No, it's my Yu-Gi-Oh deck."
It's my Yu-Gi-Oh deck.
Yeah. That when I went to PetSmart to buy it, it was like $20, and I was like, "That's insane! Like that's so much money."
It was just for a bit, just all for a bit, just all for a bit.
Not even for a video either. And then I mean, I still go to locals with it, and the girl behind the counter was like, "Oh, like what do you have?" And I was like, "It's for a Yu-Gi-Oh deck." And she's like, "Oh, stop talking to me instantly." It's like, yeah, it's best you stop talking. It's best that this conversation does not progress any further.
Let's step away from this conversation. And so I'm assuming that's how you got into it. Like every young boy and strapping gal out there, or whatever you identify as. I remember growing up with Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Duel Masters. Those are the 3 I remember from my childhood. And the big hot commodity at school, I got some Yu-Gi-Man cards. Oh, look at this. My deck was the Valkyrian deck when I was younger. Didn't know how to play it, but I had all the cards. Boy, got the Alpha, Beta, and Gamma. Boy. But I guess that's how you got into it, from your bit you just did?
Well, my card game history goes way before that. So gotta go back to Mexico. In Mexico, when Pokemon was like at its peak, there was these things called tazos, which are literally pogs, but Mexican pogs. They sold them on the back of chips, and also in Mexico they sold a lot of like bootleg cards. But oh man, I don't have an example on me, do I? I do not. I will if remind me after this, I'll take a picture of it and send it to you. They're art of the actual Pokemon cards, but it's full hollowed out on a sticker. It's like a long like card like sticker. They're really, really cool. They sold them a lot. That was actually my first introduction to what a Pokemon card was the bootleg cards. Like I knew like what Pokemon was. I watched, the anime unconsciously knowing that it was an anime. But I was like, oh, like they have the Pokemons on like these little stickers, and like, oh, that's cool. And it's like, oh, they have the Pokemons on these little like things that you toss on the ground. Like, oh, that's cool. And then that was in summer. We were like visiting for like 3 months in Mexico. And then when I went back to the United States, that is when people were like, oh, there's like Pokemon cards here, there's Pokemon cards there. You got to buy your Pokemon cards and all that. And me and my older brother, being the trendsetter that he is, he was like, I know a spot, I know a guy, where we could buy Pokemon cards. And so then I'm 3 years younger than him, so I was like, hey, you take the wheel, I'll just follow along. And he came back with a coughing for me, and I remember him saying, this one's ugly, you could have him. And I was like, a base set coughing. And I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And I was like, look at it. And it's still, oh, I don't have my Pokemon binder on me. And it's still like I love coughing, literally just because of like the memories of my older brother giving me this card saying that this is ugly, you have it. But the first Pokemon set was the dual deck trainer set. That was Machamp on one side, Seaking on one side, and had the DVD on how to play. Me and my older brother would watch that DVD consistently to try to understand how to play the game. And my older brother did. He eventually did. I think he went up to Team Rocket before Neo started. That's when he like played the game, not collect. That's when he played the game. I kept collecting until Ruby Sapphire, like near the tail end of Ruby Sapphire going into Diamond and Pearl. But I still played the games there. But from there, we went over to Yu-Gi-Oh! Again, I had no idea how to play it. But there was a card, that's when we were a little older. I was like in 5th-ish grade. My older brother was like in 7th, but that's when like things stopped being cool to like all these quote nerdy things.
Yeah.
But my older brother, he was still like very supportive of me. He was like, there's a spot behind our house. It's called a card shop. If you want, I could like me and my friend, I forgot his name, but he was like a major part of my upbringing too. He we could walk you over to there, and you could just like get like whatever you want because we had like allowance and stuff. So and I was like, yeah, sure. So we walked over, and my older brother had the Yugi starter deck. No, my older brother had the Kaiba starter deck. I had the Yugi one. So to like upgrade the decks, because our dad bought us those, we walked over to the card shop, and I was like, just flabbergasted. There was Pokemon cards in display. There were Yu-Gi-Oh cards in display. There was Legend of Blue Eyes, just like booster boxes, and like the not the trial decks, the starter decks of Yu-Gi-Oh and everything. He also had like sports stuff as well. Then I was like, yeah, who cares? Yeah. So then I was like, oh, like dude, this place is sick. Like this is super cool. And my older brother was like, wait, I need that card. And then my older brother started getting back into Yu-Gi-Oh. His friend too was also getting back into Yu-Gi-Oh. And then I was like, that base set Venusaur is $6. Can I have that Venusaur? And then I just completely ignored Yu-Gi-Oh and just kept playing Pokemon. And then after like around Neos, I started building a Pokemon deck. What I thought was good, it obviously wasn't. It wasn't meta. Don't come to me for meta Pokemon. But I built what I thought was a meta Yu-Gi-Oh deck. I built what I thought was a meta Pokemon deck. And yeah, my older brother and his friend quit the game. They gifted me all of their cards. They had up to, I believe it was a little after Labyrinth of Nightmare, I believe, in base set Yu-Gi-Oh, a little before GX. This was before Cyber Dragon came out. They just gifted me all their Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I was like, oh dude, like this is awesome. Like I gotta play Yu-Gi-Oh. Didn't play Yu-Gi-Oh until Synchros were introduced, so the 5Ds era. So I just completely gave up on Yu-Gi-Oh because when I dropped that, that's when I was like, what's manga? What's anime? Like
I have other things to focus on.
Yeah. I was like, all right, I have all these cards. I'm losing every time. So like whatever, I don't care. So yeah, my shift, like it went from anime, like being like unconscious of anime, going to card games and like playing Kingdom Hearts as well, and like playing like a couple video games, playing a lot of RPGs, going to the anime, the manga, then picking it back up, and with the 5Ds era and like the late like 2010s, and from there just went to where I'm at now. After like high school, I was like it doesn't matter. Like this doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If people like this, they'll like this. If they don't like this, do I really want to be friends with them? So, and then after that, I was just like, all right, well, I want to play card games. All right, I'll play card games. Like, I want to buy like an anime figure. All right, I'll buy an anime figure. I want to play video games. Like, all right, I'll play video games. And then I met people that were like on the internet as well that were interested in that and just the stuff that I liked. And from there, I was just like, all right, well, this is who I am. Now I'm happy. Instead of like trying to like, bottle it in and just like hide it. Like, oh, I can't tell people I play Yu-Gi-Oh. Can't play people I watch anime. And I'm just like, nah, fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. I wish that was something that I personally knew back in high school. That would have been fucking nice. But it wasn't until like senior year that I had a lot of stuff going on. I was just like, I just don't fucking care anymore. And that's when I like really dove into it. That's when I found out about Love Live, and that's when I found about Angel Beats. That's when I really dove into anime. What was it? My senior year, I was watching Kuroko no Basket. I was watching Love Live as that came out because that was the final season for the OG Love Live. I was watching. There's a couple other things that were coming out at the time that were big, but like the big two that I remember was Love Live and Kuroko, because that all-time favorite sports anime, better than Captain Tsubasa for me. Yeah, better than Haikyuu, better than I Shield 21, better than to me that was better than those. But because of that, I found this anime called Card Fight Vanguard, and and my buddy Timmy, he's one of the moderators for my Twitch thing. Everyone knows who he is. I saw randomly one day he switched his profile picture to the main character. I was like, "Hey, you watch this too?" He's like, "Yeah, I play the card game." And I'm like, "The card game's real? It's real? People actually play this game?
Oh, there's a real game?
There's a real game?" He's like, "Yeah, come here. I'll come pick you up and we'll go head over to the downtown card shop." I was like, "We have a card shop?" It developed into really getting into Card Fight. That was like my first actual TCG. And like I said, I played YuGiOh when I was in middle school and like elementary school, but I didn't win. So right around Synchros is when I got out too, because I was like, all right, I can combine the cards to make this one without polymerization, and then I pretty much just gave up and I gave the cards to everyone else. But Card Fight Vanguard was how I got into it, how I met a bunch of good friends, which developed into Weiss Schwarz. Because at the same time, a buddy of mine started working for the card shop, and he got them to start getting Weiss. And the first set I started with, Love Live. Who'd have thought? Put two and two together. And then that's where everything kind of developed. I met Kool-Aid. I met a bunch of other people, and it slowly developed. The ball started rolling. I met you. I met Hillary from, the Weiss page. If you guys are on the Weiss page, shout out Goth Mom. Hi, how you doing? And it just went from there. So what was your progression towards Weiss? Which is why people know you, because you're like a figurehead now in the Weiss community, because you do outstanding content and people love it.
Thank you. I was a friend of mine, Colton from the Clock Tower. I was talking to him. We talk a lot, and he told me that I have the most punchable face in all of Weiss Schwarz. And I was like, thanks. And he's like, well, you win by default. You're the only person that shows their face. And I was like, preference that first, all right? Say that first, all right? But I think I have the most punchable face in Weiss for sure. But golly, all right. So, oh man, I wanted to get this on record.
Well, if you want to put something on record, this is the time.
There was a YuGiOh story.
Oh, go ahead.
Why I stopped playing YuGiOh? Because I think it's important into going into why I picked up. There was a huge gap from like 2012 to 2016 when I picked up Weiss Schwarz. There was a gap of me not playing card games from playing card games and then like being like somewhat like well at card games, like from 2010 to 2012. I was dating this girl. She was really sweet. She was a super nice girl. But every Friday night, I'd say like, "Oh, I'm not available. I got something to do." She knew I was in a band, so she was like, "Oh, you're probably like playing shows or whatever." But I posted on Snapchat like a picture of me, just like out like hanging out with all my friends, and she just straight up asked me, "It's like, so how come you you never Friday nights is never our day? Why is that?" And I was like, "I go play YuGiOh on Friday nights." And this wasn't like my first girlfriend, but this was my first girlfriend outside of a school setting, because we met like at a work. And she was hot. All right. So I was like, I can't like this off-limits. All right. So like I can't really be showing this off right now, because like, I could slowly ease her in. And we were dating for like 4 or 5 months of just me. It's like, no, I can't do Friday. So she, obviously that's, I wasn't communicating with my partner, so that raised suspicion. So I told her straight up, I play YuGiOh. She was like, "Oh, I knew you were like into that like nerdy stuff, but I didn't know like you actually do that." And I was
Do
like,
that.
"But it's really fun. Like me and my friends we go hang out. It's really fun. It's a really like camaraderie like environment." And she was like, "Well, can I come?" And I was like, "Yes, you could come. Like, yeah, you could come on
Sure.
Friday night." So then, I was like, I don't know, like, what's a girl gonna do? And I was thinking, it's like, well, should I teach her how to play Yu-Gi-Oh? My dumbass. For the record, I'm a lot more emotionally mature now. I was like, she'll figure something out. So we go. I'm just there, just playing Yu-Gi-Oh. I turn her, I like look over, and she's just there, just sitting, just playing on her phone. And I was like, is she having fun? And then I kept playing, and then like Yu-Gi-Oh players, guys were like screaming. Like, God, what fucking deck was I playing? I don't remember. It's 2012. I'm playing Inzectors, was I? I don't remember. It was way too long ago. But yeah, she like we finished playing. Like it was like 3 hours. We're just like walking around, like looking at stuff, just playing on the phone. And then like I went up to her and I was like, yeah, like that's essentially what I do. And then like afterwards we go out to eat, but we could go out to eat. And she was like, that's what you do every Friday? She was like, and I was like, yeah, that's what I do. And she broke up with me like 2 months later.
It's all because of the Yu-Gi-Oh. No.
It's not. Yu-Gi-Oh's not a contributing factor, but I like to think that experience, like as a whole in general, of me showing like how I wasn't emotionally like available for her. I literally left her in the fucking corner to play on her phone while I was getting sacked. Like, come on, dude. So, for the record, I'm a lot better now. I'm a better partner now. But yeah, it's so because of that, and I was like, you know what? I wasn't able to piece 2 and 2 together. I was like, it was the Yu-Gi-Oh, it was the card game. So from there, I didn't play any card games at all. So until, my friend, told me that he bought a box of Kantai collection gummy packs. And I was like, oh, nice. Because like we went to a Japanese supermarket called Mitsuwa around the area. And they had a box of you buy a pack, and it's a clear card of the girls from Kantai plus like a little gummy. Like, the gummy is like the candy, you get the card. It's like the wafer packs essentially.
Yeah.
With candy. So he was like, yeah, dude, I bought a box of those. And I was like, dude, sick. Because we'd constantly go to Mitsuwa, just, all right, fucking take this. Just like, this is ours now. And and I wanted, which one do I want? I wanted a Tago. She's up there. Oh, you can't see her. But yeah, I wanted a Tago because I got a type. And my buddy was like, yeah, dude, like, it's like, he was starting a YouTube channel. I was like, yeah, dude, we're going to open it on my YouTube channel. It's going to be great. And he gets the box. And he was like, the fuck is this? And I was like looking at it, and I was like, dude, this isn't it, dude. This looks like a card game. And the more I looked at it, I was like, oh shit, I know what these are, because a year prior, my card shop was selling Weiss Schwarz, but they were fire selling them because no one would buy it. So I bought a bunch of Madoka packs. That was my first introduction to Weiss Schwarz, but I didn't play it because I like Madoka, so I bought a bunch of the English edition of Madoka. Opened them up. I was like, yeah, the cards are cute. I put them like on my card game wall and stuff, just to like display, not to play. But then my buddy had a trial deck of Kantai collection, and I was like, yeah, oh, all right, let's see where this goes. And I bought the trial deck for Nisekoi, and that came in, and I love Nisekoi. It's one of my favorite mangas of all time. The anime, it doesn't, but it doesn't give me the resolution that I wanted as in the manga. So I bought the Nisekoi trial deck. We played. Well, we thought we were like, oh, we're smart, we're adults, we're like following the rules. Like, what is this going to do? What is the continuous effect? I don't know. I think the continuous climax stays on the board for the entire game until someone plays a different climax. And we were like, yeah, that makes sense. So we'd play a 1k1. Stayed on the board. It didn't go away.
Man, oh boy.
And my character still got 1k power like during crosser. It was insane. So we played. Then I got another one of my friends to play, and we were just constantly playing. And his friends got somebody else to play. Then we went to Frankenstein's. We were building decks, and then I I went over and we were at Frankensons, which is like not that far from like where I live. But Frankensons is a giant, at least back in the day, it was just a bunch of shops inside a giant building. In that
Kind of
giant
like
building,
an outlet mall kind of thing.
yes. Inside that building was a shop called JKTCG. So I walked up to them and then I was like, "Oh, you guys are selling Weiss Schwarz cards?" And then I was like, "Yeah, we are." And I was like, "Well, I have a Nisekoi deck and I'm trying to build." And I was like, "One of you guys could help me." And I was like, "Well, we don't have a majority of like the good cards, the staples that you need in your Nisekoi deck, but we could like sell you some stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." Then I was like, "Why are those cards like it looks like they have a signature?" And they're like, "Those are the signed cards." And I was like, "What are signed cards?" And then he was like, I don't remember who it was. It wasn't June, the main dude. It was someone else. He was like, "You play Weiss and you don't know the signed cards?" And I was like, "No,
No.
I don't know what they are." They're like, "Well, what do you play?" And I was like, "Nisekoi, but I only have the trial deck and I want to like expand on it." And they're like, "Oh, you need this." And they pointed me to a booster box of Nisekoi and I was like, "Maybe, I'll think about it." So I bought like some cards, worked up my deck, went home, and then I was like, and we were playing, and I was like, "This is super fun." I was like, "This is like thoroughly enjoyable. Like I like this a lot." And then I bought a booster box of Nisekoi. My buddy bought a booster box of Contact Collection. Another buddy bought a booster box of AOT. We had Persona coming out. We were like, this is it. Like we had like us 4 people like in this room. Like let's go out. Let's go play Weiss Schwarz. And then we went to this shop called TC Gen. Rest in peace, no longer with us. They're like a Weiss Schwarz shop. Like they did Weiss Schwarz, Buddy Fight, Pokemon, Vanguard. That is it. No Magic the Gathering, no Yu-Gi-Oh, none of that. They went in and we bought more stuff and we played. And my buddies were like, like I think like we're gonna try to do something else. My friend was moving to Northern California. Another one of my friends was getting more into their music. And my buddy, the one that did the YouTube videos, he was gonna be focusing more on YouTube and less on the trading cards. And I was like, I want to, because I was featured on his channel before, and we did like unboxings, and he'd always like go to me for like anime like recommendations and just like, "Hey, there's this anime thing, let's open it on camera." And I was like, "Absolutely, let's do it." And I was like, I want to start my own YouTube channel. Like I want to start my own YouTube channel, but I want to talk about Weiss Schwarz because I'm having a lot of fun with it. And he was like, there doesn't seem to be like a lot of people out there, so like, yeah, go ahead. And I was like, all right, sure, why not? That was like in the back burner. And then I saw Kudo-kun, saw y'all, I saw Shizucast when they did videos. God, it was a while ago. And then who else was I watching? Clock Kick for Salt. This is no longer like that channel doesn't exist anymore. But I think like my biggest inspirations to like actually, obviously my friend telling me, like pushing me, and was like you took public speaking courses in college, you're able to talk, like go for it. And Base Damage and Clock Kick for Salt, because the Clock Kick for Salt video that pushed me over the edge was them. It was on their phone, filmed a landscape. They were opening the Bang Dream trial deck, but they kept calling it the K-On trial deck. And then they're like, all right, we're going to open up the K-On trial deck. We're going to see what's inside. And instead of putting the phone down, they were opening the trial deck with their phone still in their hand. So it was just a nightmare. I was like, this is the funniest fucking thing I have ever seen card game related. I was laughing so hard. I was like, this is the video was like a minute. It was like a minute 10 long, and they just open it and they're like, well, there it is. And I was like, this is great. This is phenomenal. This is so funny. And then I subscribed. Then they uploaded then I was like, all right, I want to be the funny Weiss guy. How hard could that be? So I looked up to Mega Capital G and oh man, what's his name? I'm trying to huge YuGiOh. And just like the really funny like Yugi tubers, Asimo, was another one that I watched a lot, and I was like, yeah, I kind of want to make videos like that, but like I took editing classes in college, like film classes in college, so I knew like how to like frame stuff and like how to edit, so like I wasn't like completely in the dark, but I was like, all right, I'm gonna go for it. I want to make my first YouTube video. I was in a work meeting, And I was just in the back of my head, I was like, dude, I gotta
do it.
It's
I got
it's
the
not
itch.
if I want to do it so badly, why don't I just do it? Like, because like, what is like? People are gonna dislike the video and call me like, pathetic or whatever. But like, that's the internet. Like, it's not that bad. So I was like in this work meeting, and I was like, well, what what do I talk about? Then I was like, why don't I just talk about the news? Like, because I don't see like anybody really talking about the news. So I was like, what's coming out? Star Wars. Star Wars is coming out. That was in 2017. And I was like, oh yeah, Star Wars got announced. So I was there on my notes. I was writing the script for my first video. It's just like, oh, I could talk about this, and this, give the release date, make a couple of jokes. And then I wrote down, make Jar Jar Binks joke. That's the one that like I'll never forget. Make Jar Jar Binks joke. And then I got home, set up my camera, and I filmed my first YouTube video talking about the Star Wars being announced for Weiss Schwarz in 2017 in January 21st, I believe. The only reason I know that is because I celebrated my 5-year anniversary last year. And it's gonna be my 6 years doing YouTube videos.
Dude, 6 years.
Yeah, been doing it for 6 years.
Jeez, man.
Insane. Not even stopping for like every now to like, I'm going on vacation or whatever, I'm going on tour. My band's playing on tour or whatever. I'm going to the UK and no episodes or whatever. But yeah, it's for almost 6 years now. It's insane.
Lord,
it's insane.
See, I'm gonna say this here first. We'll let the world know your dedication kind of inspired me to do 2 videos a week. Because I do keep up with you, and I do watch. And I mean, obviously, you got life that happens. Your band's more important, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, like, you got to do that, and that's fine. Take breaks. But I've learned, and I saw, and I was like, this is dedication. I've watched your streams. I'm like, this is what I need to do. So I started batching, and that's why I got an editor to help with a little bit. My buddy, he takes care of all the stream videos. He cuts them all up, does that. So that's 1 day a week taken care of. And I'm set out to like end of February now. Like I'm really like, but I wanted to thank you for that because you inspired me to be like, I need to get on my ball. I really want to do this. I want to get serious about this.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, I also want to give a huge shout out to 36 Cancel. They because they are the biggest Weiss Schwarz YouTube channel, like period. Like,
yeah.
Like it's them. Like it's definitely them. And I like the support and just like the camaraderie that 36 has shown me. I was like, oh, like this is like I've never met them in person. I want to change that during the Spring Fest. But I'm like, dude, like this is like internet friends are cool. I never met you in person, but internet friends are cool. But like the first inclination of like, oh, like I could like reach out to like other people and like talk about this was when I was invited on the Base Damage podcast. Like that was like a huge like point, like a big career point, like a career milestone.
Mm-hmm.
Like of me doing YouTube videos was me being on the Base Damage podcast in like my first year making YouTube videos. I was like, dude, that's insane. I thought I made it. Like, I was like, wow, I'm on the Base Damage podcast.
I want to think that inspired me.
Yeah, like literally, yeah. And then like that, like inspired. I was like, okay, like I could reach out to other content creators and just like, oh, we could like make stuff. And then like I hit up like 36 Cancel. Then I hit up the Clock Tower, Platinum Point, and just like, and then like all I don't want to say inspired a bunch of other people, but there are like other people that like also tell me like, dude, like I started making Weiss Schwarz videos because of you. Like I watched your videos like all the time. Even like locals, like Alex Hodges, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So Alex, close friend of mine. Like we're like, if Alex Hodges is there, I'm probably there. If I'm probably there, Alex Hodges is probably not there because he's a family man. He got more important stuff than me. But we were at locals before BCS, which is the Bushiroad Championship Series. For us, it was in California in December. Alex Hodges, possibly, I'd say like one of the faces of Weiss Schwarz as well. He was sitting across from me. We were playing against each other, and the person next to me was like, "It's like, oh, you're Alex Hodges. Like, I love your videos. Like, your TikToks are great." And he was like, "Oh yeah, thank you for the support." And he was like, "Oh, you're Hungry Box." And I was like, "It's Lunchbox." But thank you for the support. He was like, "Oh yeah, like I love your live streams and your videos. Like you're great." And I was like, Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, appreciate it.
I was like, appreciate the support. Thank you so much.
Wow, it's the one and only Hungry Box.
Yeah, and like at California, people were like, "Yo, Lunchbox," and I was like, "Hey, what's up?" People were like taking selfies with me, and the dude like checking me in. Like I gave him my ID, then he looked at it and he was like, "Are you Lunchbox?" And I was like, "This guy has my address now." Oh my god!
Oh no!
I was like, look. So when people say, "Are you Lunchbox?" they either really like me or they fucking hate me. There's like no in between. And he was like, "I love your videos, man." Like, and I was like, "Ah, thank you so much." And yeah, just like people were like they seemed to enjoy my presence there, which is good. And I feel that I take up like a weird niche in the Weiss Schwarz community because it's very like meta centered.
Mhm.
All card games are. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah,
All
oh
trading
yeah.
Card games are. Weiss Schwarz is no different. I carved out a niche where it's like, yeah, like I'll get serious and talk about like a serious deck. Talk about, like, but I mainly like, yeah, I talk about the news, but also we'll talk about the meta, but also a majority of the time I'm just making jokes, you know. Like, I'm just like this. This isn't a bit.
this is how it is.
Unfortunately, this is it. This is how I be.
So so you're gonna do Springfest, obviously.
Yes.
Have you decided who's gonna be on your team? I don't know if you want to like release that news.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's supposed to be a top secret.
No. It's not top secret. So they're featured on my channel multiple times. They're like some of the like my favorite people in all of Weiss Schwarz. User not found and Andy Callie. There we last
Andy,
year,
God bless that man. Anyway, sorry.
We called. Oh yeah, fucking love him to death. Love him to death. We called ourselves Team Y because we really like this idol group called Team Y that features Aimi, which we Queen. She's, where's she?
No, hold on, hit it. Yeah, here you go.
Queen Aimi, and so we call ourselves Team Y. It has Mikoi Sasaki and has oh my god, I'm drawing a huge blank on her name. I hate being on the spot for names. Japanese foreign names as well. She plays Arisa in Bang Dream. It has all three of them. Then we were like, oh, like we were trying to come up with a team name because we had to come up with team names. The last Spring Fest before COVID, it was we called ourselves the Ojama Trio. And it was with a different card. It was different card group that I migrated to with Andy's group now. And we were like, oh, like, let's call ourselves Team Y because we like we got to do it for Aimi. That's a joke on the channel. We do it for Aimi. So we signed up Team Y. We go to Springfest, and they're like, yeah, we're Team Y. I was so proud. And they was like, Team Y or Team Y1 or Team Y2. And we're like, oh, no, there's more Team Y. We're like, oh, we're the only ones. So we're, as soon as registrations are up, we're swooping in, and we got to be the first Team Y. So we were Team Y1. So we weren't the first Team Y or the second one. Like there were total 3 Team Ys. So yeah, they're gonna be that's my Springfest group. But the thing is like, with the way that I like take tournaments is that because Worlds is in Los Angeles and like 40 minutes from my house, I was like, I'll just drive to Worlds. And then I messaged Bushy Road, and I asked him, like, yeah, since Worlds is 40 minutes from my house, like, how was the invite? Am I still gonna get like, am I gonna get flown out to Los Angeles? Are you guys gonna pick me up in your Honda Civic? Are we gonna go Taco Bell afterwards? Like, what's the deal? Like, how's that gonna work? And then I was like, oh, you just go up. And I was like, I'm not trying. I'm literally not gonna try. Like, so like, but I treat that like every tournament because like, yeah, it'd be cool to go to Japan for Worlds, go to Singapore for Worlds. I was talking to Matt. They said that that's a possibility for next year, or go to LA for Worlds. Just being in Worlds to being like that top player, but I don't really see myself as I'm a pretty good player. Like I'm pretty solid, but I don't think I need the validation of a Worlds top to confirm me being a good player, if that makes sense, or being like a good Weiss Schwarz, like good at Weiss Schwarz in general. So the way that I treat like tournaments, like regional tournaments, is that I go, I have fun, I hang out with all of my internet friends. All of my internet friends, they come to California. I have friends from Vegas, Northern California. Goth Mom visited as well, and just hanging out with like all like my group of friends. We eat the day before, we eat the day of, we eat the day after. We hang out. We go to Little Tokyo, Mitsuwa. We do like all this cool nerdy stuff, and like this is like they're in town for this. Let's just go hang out. And also just like I guess like now like meeting people that like I don't want to say fans because that feels weird, but lack of better terms, but like fans of the channel. They like say hi, they come up, we have like little meet and greets and all that. Someone wanted me to sign their card as well. So it's
please sign,
like
please sign.
Yeah. They weren't that timid, but it's like that's like how I see it. Like a BCS, Spring Fest. Like it's less of like me trying really, really hard to get this top, but and just like have fun, hang out. That's how I see. That's how I see Weiss Schwarz. Like to me, it's not like it's competitive, and at times like I could be like extremely competitive. Anybody that plays me knows like how I'm jokey. Like I like to smile, but as soon as like I draw those 5 cards, it's just straight stone face. I have 5 cards in my hand. You're not gonna see it. You're not gonna see it on my face. I was even playing at locals, and one guy I was losing pretty badly, and then I was just there, stone faced, like not showing any emotion, playing and all that. And then at the end of the game, I lightened up and I got all happy. And the guy, he was also like he viewed my channel and stuff, and he was like, oh. And I was like, yeah, dude, like you got me. Like I had like a really bad start, couldn't stabilize. I told him like basically like what was in my hand, what happened. I had like I don't remember that match exactly. But then he was like, I thought you were really angry at me. And I was like, no, that's just how I play. Because like if I show if I draw a card and I say damn it, obviously that's gonna give you more information.
Yeah, it's gonna tell you.
So you gotta be like, you gotta have that stone face. And he was like, oh yeah, like again, I just thought you were really mad at me. And I was like, no, dude, like don't worry about it. Like no, that's just how I play. That's just how I play.
So yeah, I'm gonna ask. I want to throw that out there. The idea. Have you ever thought about traveling for Springfest? Because I say this because me, Gothbomb, and another friend of hers, we're going to go to Atlanta for our thing. Me and her and a friend are going to. We're the team. We're a team. We don't have a name yet. It's probably going to be Graveyard Diggers or something. I don't know. Probably something. I'll let her decide. But we're going to go to, because it's not actually in Atlanta. It's like outside of Atlanta this year. Which
do something. I don't remember. Dupart? No, that's not a city.
No, it's like Athens or something. They changed Athens? It, which no, it's not. I forget what's the name. It's like literally like, so here's Atlanta, here's the city. It's like outside, closer to Charlotte, like heading towards the Charlotte way.
Your editor will put the actual city down there.
Yeah, me. Yeah, you see that? Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. But like, it's outside of Atlanta, which is, it saves a headache because I don't know. Have you been to Atlanta?
Yes.
Well, there's a lot of homeless people, and I say this because I remember we first went to a regionals. It was Atlanta, Georgia. It was me, Kool-Aid, and a bunch of our other friends. And one of our friends, he bought a ton of Konosuba, like a 3,600 count box, like much of Konosuba. And he carried it with him to see if he could trade it off and sell and such. And then we were walking back. 5 people asked if they could have his box. Nothing else. They're just like, can I have that box? You want that box, kid? Hey, can I have that box? You're not going to do anything with the box. Can I have the box? Like, what? That, I almost got hit a couple times because people can't drive. And it's very sketchy at night.
Yeah.
So,
as an adult, I could appreciate a good box too. So
yeah, I can appreciate
I have a box in the corner that's just there that I'm just like, I can't throw that box away. That's a good box.
Hey, you can still use that box, man.
I can still use that box. So I appreciate a good box. So understandable. I don't see anything wrong with that being asking somebody else for their box.
Asking for their box.
But to answer your question, I did want to go to New Jersey.
Do I want to?
The reason I want to go to New Jersey is because friend of the channel Stock Swaps is gonna be there. Friend of the channel 36 Cancel. This isn't my channel. What am I doing? Stock Swap Games is gonna be there. 36 Cancel is gonna be there. And a couple other of my friends are gonna be there as well. I believe the Clock Tower said that they might pop over there as well. And I was like, might as well. Like, flights can't be that expensive, right?
What is that? Because for me, I would be down to drive because I'm from Jersey. Like, I'm originally born and raised in Jersey, and then we moved to North Carolina. And I've been here for like 15 years, 16 years. But I drive back every year. So, like, that wouldn't be bad, but I'd be by myself. I wouldn't have a team. So it'd be kind of me just showing up and be like,
I wouldn't have a team either. I don't think so. Because Stock Swap is gonna try to win. I got a message Jack. I see he's online right now. Probably shoot him over a message. Shoot him a message right now. But yeah, I think I want to go just to hang out with them, if anything. And I also got friends over in the East Coast that I was like, yeah, you know, might go hang out with them. Why not?
Might as well, man. There's this. I don't know. Okay, so I want to get your opinion. So I know you. If you were to choose, if you had to choose to run a deck at a regionals, like say you want to win, but you're not going to take it seriously. Are you going to take a meta build, or are you going to take a box build? Or are you going to be like, this is for me, this is what I think can win, and it probably, to me, it feels better than a meta? Or are you going to be like me, who ran Milky Holmes one year and just kind of just showed up and was like, all right, guys, let's go?
It's Weiss Schwarz is so weird because technically anything could be good. It's half pilot, half the deck, and I take that back. 25 pilot, 25 deck, 50% luck. My buddy, user not found, he got 6-1 with 8 treasure Kobayashi, which is a deck that no one even thought of running. So he was like, and we were all like, dude, he got X1, like he's obviously gonna be in the top. But you know, around that time people were dropping, so he got bubbled out. But he's still technically the best Kobayashi player in all of the United States. So that's still something. But for me, I always take what deck I think is least represented. And I take the build that is least represented. So last Spring Fest, oh my goodness, what did I take? I took quintessential quintuplets. This was set 1 quints, not set 2 quints. Yeah. I brought set 1 quints, and it was a Yotsuba waifu build. That's what I brought. The Spring Fest, or the BCS before that, I took Bang Dream Afterglow. This year, I took Tokyo Revengers 8 Choice. So I never like bring like the most like competitive build. I'm always like, how well can this do? My last Spring Fest, it was Ray Zero, the Subaru build. So like, I don't know. That's just how we do. Again, I'm there to have fun, and also just kind of to see like how well can this do like in a tournament setting. Because like, okay, locals is one thing, but a lot of people are going to this. Like, there's going to be a large concentration of like really great players here. My Tokyo Revengers 8 Choice this year did 4-3, which I misplayed really badly one game, so I'm still knocking myself for that. But I went 4-3, so it's, you know, it's a little above average, so it's pretty good. It's a solid deck. I like it.
So just for those who are listening and watching, I'm gonna start talking. We're gonna do a lot of Weiss talk because I want to bounce a lot of questions off of you because a lot happened during COVID, especially with like people cheating on here because they had to figure out how to do Weiss regionals and stuff like that. So they did it via webcam and other stuff, and then sets came out, and now that people are actually getting back to playing in person, I just got a lot of questions. If you don't mind, I bounce a couple things off of you.
Fine. I don't know about your viewers, but
yeah. Well, this is they're getting to know you. There's going to be a lot of people from the Weiss community probably watching too, because it's you. Okay. So the first thing I want to see is, do you think HoloLive's going to fizzle out by the time Springfest comes around?
So, geez. So talking JP or English?
We're going to do strictly just for here, just English.
Okay. So I will talk about JP right now. So JP recently came out with a ban list. A restriction list.
Yes, I saw that.
There is a guy that steamrolled using Toki no Sora because the JP meta was D-Site Tramere, and Toki no Sora just like vomits out your level 3 at level 1, negates essentially like puts pressure on D-Side so they won't be able to push you on damage. The reason I bring that up is because the Sora combo got on the restriction list. That was like the sacrificial lamb essentially for HoloLive in JP to be unrestricted. Like they're like, so essentially Hololive is unchanged in JP. In English, because I don't think because we don't have Decitramere. Sora essentially doesn't have anything to steamroll over. It's not going to be the quote top deck. So what I think is that at this point with Hololive, because of Kanata Marine being extremely powerful, I think 2023, and this is my lock of the year, I think this is where we're going to start splitting off in like on the restriction list. English JP is going to obviously has their own, but we're going to start seeing a lot of deviations because right now our restriction list is fairly close to the JP one. Because Hololive already got dealt with in JP. I think eventually, like, we might have different restriction lists with Kanata Marine being on the English restriction list. And because Sora or Nino got hit on the English restriction list, all right, what's the next best deck? Kanata Marine. So I don't think Hololive is gonna fizzle out for a good while. And in JP, when we had the presentation, there was a bunch of question marks, 3 question marks, dot, question mark. And if you put out the I think it's the katakana for Hololive Production Volume 2, it fits perfectly on all of those question marks. So if anything, we
fan
might
theory
get more
here,
Hololive.
maybe. Well, it's a big fucking
that's my
seller.
response.
That's the thing. It's a big fucking seller. How many people
Yeah.
are spending money on cases just to get some of the sign cards? Like, God knows, man. My roommate's bad for that. He doesn't even play anymore, but he spent so much money just to get some of the sign cards. Like,
Shout out to the roommate.
yeah, shout out to my roommate. Like, God knows, man. So that's why I'm like, the fan base is there. Like, everyone knows that. VTubers are like the big thing. Especially now that a bunch of them are now playing Weiss out of nowhere. It's going to start, like, pumping up the numbers. And that was another thing. Do you think, because of COVID, now that we're actually getting back in person, now that it's going to be all across the region now, not just, in California and such, do you think the numbers for tournament entries are going to be up?
We had 180 in California. Like,
See,
that is a lot of people. Like,
I was about to say, I never been to a California for like regionals or anything like that. So is that like big, or is that like
the last one that we had was 100?
okay? All right, cool. That answers that.
Yeah, that is almost double. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. There's gonna be a lot more people, but then there's also gonna be a lot more people dropping the game, I'd say, because they're like, oh yeah, well, the people that buy into it, like passingly, try to learn it, and then they're like, it's not for me. Then they drop it because again, the mechanics are pretty wonky at times. It's not very like combo heavy like in YuGiOh, and like there's a lot of YuGiOh players coming into. That's why whenever a YuGiOh player comes to Weiss Schwarz, they pick up the super combo heavy decks and like the kind of like the autoplay decks, kind of like Nino, Mushoku Tensei, and Kanata Marine. Like those are very, very, very combo heavy. So they pick up those decks, and you see posts like, I'm quitting Weiss Schwarz, take all this shit for like $1 or whatever. Like there's constantly posts like that. And so I think like at least like right now, especially since Hololive has like been like, it's like it's in the past now, like it's in a distant memory of it being released in English and in JP. I think that the people that dropped the game have dropped it, and the people that are keeping the game are now keeping it. And a lot more people that are getting into the game are most likely going to stay into it a lot longer because we're getting a lot of different series that they might actually be interested in. And then there's always the JP side that the English players have yet to explore. So I think like now, at this point, if the people that are just passive with Weiss, they're gone. But the people that are playing it are going to stick with it.
All right, good. Because like that was one of my things. Because I've really thought, well, we learned from COVID a couple things. One, makes video game prices hella increase. Found that out the hard way because my physical collection back here. Second thing is people get bored, so they pick up card games. And Weiss was one of them because, hey, I started watching anime because I couldn't leave the house. Oh, there's a card game that's in. So I just wanted to see from the news aspect and someone who deals with like one of the bigger states that has Weiss to see if the actual attendance has increased. Because here locally, because of our fan base, because it's a college town, so a lot of people come and go, and we don't really have it at the shop. They still sell it, but we don't have tournaments weekly now.
So there is table salt. No. There's 7 locals in a 20-mile area that host YuGiOh Schwarz tournaments.
Jesus.
Yeah. We're extremely spoiled in Southern California. The card shop in Little Tokyo, shout out to, they don't have a name. Shout out to the card shop in Little Tokyo. They're good friends of mine. They said that they're going to start shooting off their tournaments in February. So there's going to be 8 locals now in my area. So it's there. The demand is there, especially because like where I'm from, there's a huge Asian American like population as well. I was told we have the second highest Vietnamese population in the world, second to Vietnam. So that's pretty neat. And then we also have like a huge clusters of like Japanese populations as well. So there's the need is there. The cultural acceptance of anime is also there. So when people go into like a card shop, they're like, I've saw this thing. I've seen like Tokyo Revengers. I'll buy a box. I've seen Quince. I'll buy a box. Like so, and generally, I'm not gonna shout out my sponsor, but their prices are extremely well, like way too well to the point that I'm like, y'all are not gonna stay in business. Like I swear to, like your prices are way too cheap. But you'd see like the card shops in our area like competing for prices as well, and just like and. I don't know if they worked it out in a way that each card shop has a different day, like of the week that you could go play Weiss. It's weird. I don't think that was planned at all. But yeah, there's tournaments are always firing. To answer your question, yes. The attendance is there. It's huge. Card shops are there. They're selling Weiss to the point that they're like competing against each other on Weiss Schwarz. Like it's there, definitely.
This leads me to the next question, which I wish it didn't happen, but I heard cases of cheating on camera during tournaments.
Yes.
What? I kind of stayed out of it, but I kind of watched the drama unfold. Can you explain to me, because this is more of a me thing, sorry, y'all have to suffer.
Yeah.
Can you explain how it exactly went down?
How exactly? No. I won't do
Roughly.
that because it is fairly private information and people like want to like move past that. But I will explain like generally like what happened. Essentially, are you talking about the first one or the second one or the third one? Like there's gonna be multiple.
I just saw one.
It's not just Weiss Schwarz though. It's every card game. Everyone there was a cheating scandal. Like there was a cheating scandal in YuGiOh. There was one in Pokemon, in Magic, and Weiss Schwarz. I'm sure there's one in Vanguard. I haven't checked.
Probably. It wouldn't surprise me.
Actually, there was because I remember seeing Bushiroad posting about it, me reading it and being like, "Oh, it wasn't us this time." Thank God. So there was multiple. I can't even say allegations now. There's multiple cheating reports coming up from Bro, from like just on live streams from the WGP. Like there's various different ways people were cheating. One of them was not having enough cards in the deck. Another one was like having cards off screen. Another one was I think that was actually it. Oh, another one was the opponent was leveling up with 8 instead of 7, and just like a huge mishmash of different things. But again, it wasn't just Weiss; it was all the other card games essentially.
And I think we're going to leave on this note because I think this would be a good ending point. If people want to get into Weiss, now I know the easiest answer would be just pick up one of the newest trial decks. But if it wasn't if it was an option, they had a big variety of it. Is there a certain newer or the kind of last year trial deck that they might be able to get a hand of? Would you recommend for people that want to get into Weiss?
I don't think that I would recommend the Morphonica trial deck. I'd say from Bang Dream. The reason is because I love Bang Dream. That's the main reason. But the Morphonica trial deck is pretty solid. And also, there are key cards in that set that lets you that you could just like add onto it onto the trial deck as well. And also Bang Dream is one of the legacy sets for Weiss Schwarz. And if you want to just constantly be updating your deck and buying a new product, buying a legacy set is like one of the ways to go. So I'd say the Morphonica trial deck. That one was released I think last year. Wait. 2023, 2021. I think it was released in 2021. So what year it was.
Well, hey man, it just turned it. I don't blame you. All right, like I'm still writing 2022 on my paperwork. Like I
already messed up 2023. I'll get it 2024. That's my
year. Look, it's too late. I already screwed it up. 360 days. I'll fix it. I'll looking for the next one.
We'll fix it in post.
Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up because I mean, if they want to know more about you, where do they want it? Where can they go? List all your stuff. Do all of it.
All the socials. I go by Casually Weiss Schwarz on YouTube, but my internet name is Lunchbox. Casually Weiss Schwarz is the channel. Lunchbox5930 on Twitch. Casually WS on Twitter and on Instagram. I stream on Twitch and YouTube. If you like Weiss Schwarz that just like doesn't take itself too seriously, I'm the guy to go.
And if you want more news, if you want like general, you do what, once a week roughly, kind of.
I try to do twice a week, with the extra video being on Wednesday, but on Saturday is always the news videos.
So if you want to learn what's going on, if you want to get into it, this is the man to go to. Please go check him out. Everything will be down in the description below. And thank you, bud. I appreciate you doing this because this was a fun talk, and I'm pretty sure we're probably going to talk a little bit more afterwards. But
yeah, thank you for having me. It was super fun. I love doing these.
But until next time, folks, we will see you all later. Bye-bye.
Peace.
Anyway, post-credit scene. Here you go, guys. He has an idol fascination. Let's talk about this real quick. This is gonna be for the true people who want to sit back and watch.
The post-credit scene, like a Marvel movie.
Yeah, exactly. This is post-credits.
Oh boy. Well, man, where do I even start? Like how I got into idolism, like how I got into idols and stuff, or
sure, why not? Yeah, let's do that because, oh boy,
damn, idols is such a weird, like, just like aspect of Japanese like otaku culture. Like, sure, we got the guys that like trains.
Yeah,
we got the guys that like idols. Like, it's like that's like the really like weird aspect. And even when with my ex, one of my many exes. I like and follow a lot of like Japanese idols, and then she'd even like be like, am I not like good enough? And I'm like, it's multiple reasons that we like idols, but that's a whole nother can of worms that I will get into. But my first introductions to idols was through just going on YouTube. I think it was like 2008, 2009. I was just on YouTube, and I found this singer called Sashihara Rino, and I was like, oh, she's really cute, and I was like, oh, she's like a really good singer. Then I found out she was in this group called AKB48, and I was like, what the fuck is this? There's like 48 of them. They're in different units, and then I was like, all right. So then I watched AK Bingo religiously, like English subs of AK Bingo, and like each one. It was like NSYNC, but huge. Like you had like the pretty one, you had the cute one, you had the one that was, like super smart. And Sashihara Rino's gimmick was that she was super into idols, so like she was an idol otaku. And there was a video of her doing otegai, which is like the idol dance that you do with the glow sticks. And I was like, all right, what is like actually happening? Like what is otegai? Like what is idolism? What is all that? And then like the more I like looked into it, I was like, I don't think this is for me. I was like, yeah, they're cute and all, but I don't know. Like, this isn't for me. And then I got into K-On! That was like in 2010 because I played a lot of music. And the idol music was like, I was like, oh, this is like super cheery. It's a beat. This is what I like. And then with K-On!, they did a concert where all the seiyus were singing. And then I was like, oh, they actually sing the songs. Like, that's crazy. And then I was like, oh, a lot of seiyus sing their own songs, and I was like, oh shit, all of these songs they slap, they cook, they bop. And then I got into
Love Live, I got into Muse, and this was like still on the JP side, or like JP side. Wow, it's still on the Japanese. Yeah, and I was like, oh, like this is like AKB. This is like an idol group. And then I was like, all right, I'll give idol groups one more time. Like I'll give them another shot. Then I got into like some of the more like mainstream ones, but then like I got really like I really like the underground idol scene in Japan, which is less, you know, like super upbeat pop music, kind of like, you know, Love Live and Muse and all that. But it was more like alternative rock. There's like some power violence and grindcore idols. There were some black metal idols or hardcore. There was an easycore idol group called no, my goodness. Oh no, I'm drawing a huge blank on their name. I don't remember what they were called, but they were sick. They sounded just like A Day to Remember, and I was like, this is insane. And they're like a group of like 6 Japanese girls singing this. And the more I like started digging deeper into the underground idol scene, there was a group called Bish, and I was like, this is insane. Like this is like everything that goes against what AKB is. This is like anti-idol stuff. And I was like, dude, this is sick. Like this is great. And my music taste is like really like real heavy stuff. So then around like 2015, I was consuming more idol music. My favorite ones were YuGiOh Melt More, which they did this really absolutely insane like collaboration with this Japanese noise artist. It's literally just harsh noise and them just like singing, screaming, saying shit, and I was just like, this is nuts. Like but it was really good. I got more into Necronomidol, which are a black metal idol group. Like they dress in corpse paint, and it's all blast beats, and it's super sick. Then there is Haruko-san, the 9th generation Toilet Hanako-san, I believe was her name, which is a crust punk grindcore idol. Real weird shit. I was getting deep into it, like real, like playing to like 5 people in a basement, kind of like idol groups. And then I was like, this is what I like. This is sick. But then I also like really liked Love Live, really liked the Quars, really liked Muse, liked AKB48, really liked Niji-san Conquistadors, like real like upbeat pop idol stuff. And then I was like, I want to take the next step. I want to take the next plunge. I want to start buying idol merchandise. But I was like, I don't know where to turn. And that's when I met Andy Callie. And I knew bromides existed, but I was like, I never was like, you know, I'm going to buy a bromide. And around that time, that's also what like I got super into Bang Dream and like the different Bang Dream groups because they were rock musicians playing their own music. Well, not their own music. They had people write it, but they were playing their own instruments. They had their own equipment. The guitarist for Poppin' Party, Otsuka Sai, is really good at guitar. And I was like, all right, like how do I be like you, Andy? And he was like, you need to buy a bromide first. That's the first thing you got to do. You got to buy a bromide. And I was like, where do I even buy one? And then he was like, I'll just give you one for free. Because I really liked Aimi because I liked her stuff in Idolmaster. Aimi played guitar in Idolmaster. She sang in Idolmaster, and then she had her own pop album. And then that's what introduced her into the world of Bang Dream. And Andy gave me my first bromide, which was this one. Which let's see, that's not gonna focus. No, yeah, so it's Aimi with the guitar, and then I was like, you know what? We were buying macaroons, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna spend $30 for this bromide, and then I bought another one, and then I was like, I was in a relationship with someone who was understanding and comfortable with me because they knew that I loved her, but you know, I like them as musicians, as artists. And I would just get more idol stuff. Like over here, you can kind of see I got a picture of Risa Samugi, like taped onto a box. That's a prop that I have. And then like I also have these Reze Suilim bromides. I have is it on my wall? No. I have checkies of different different idols as well. I have a framed picture of Risa Samugi, like on my wall.
Oh,
but, yeah. If with idols, like obviously there's a dark side with like the idol group that I don't vibe with, but it's a fun hobby if you're into music, if you're into like essentially like let's be honest, they're cute Japanese girls. Like let's be straight up. If you're into cute Japanese girls, if you're into music, idols are their music is fun. Like if you don't like AKB48, that's fine. Go find something that's to your taste, because there is always an idol group that is to your taste. Like the crust punk grindcore idol Hanako, like that's like literally on my. I wish I had her bromide, but I don't. I should have. I'll go on eBay right now. Yeah,
let me fix that real quick here right over stream and done. All right,
ship to my address. Yeah, it's essentially my idol rant. If you're in a relationship with someone, just have a talk with them. Be like, hey, this isn't it. I care about you, but this is just like some extra stuff that I do. Typically, like they're understanding. But yeah. What was the question?
All right, cool. Anyway, that's the proceeds stuff, because I didn't want to cover this because God knows, man. Like it's one of those things. You and Andy, I swear. All right. Anyway,
dude, my best friend in the whole wide world. I don't know where to be without him. Love him to death. Team Y, baby.
Oh, Jesus, man. All right. Yeah. Anyway, beautiful end post scene. Let me know what your favorite idol groups are down below if you got this far. Mine's obviously Muse. I love my Muse and Aquarius. They're my tops. I still love them to this day. Big fans. But yeah, just let us know, and I guess we'll now see you all later. Bye bye.